Most people have no idea they're being scammed by their mechanic until they've already paid hundreds or thousands of dollars for unnecessary repairs. There are 3 specific red flags that dishonest mechanics use consistently to overcharge customers. And once you know what to look for, you'll never fall for these tricks again. I've worked in the automotive repair industry for over a decade, and I've seen every scam in the book. Some mechanics are honest professionals, but others prey on customers who don't know enough about cars to question what they're being told. The 3 signs I'm about to reveal are based on actual documented scam tactics that consumer protection agencies and state attorney generals have prosecuted mechanics for using. These aren't rare occurrences. These are common practices at dishonest shops across America. Understanding these warning signs will save you from getting ripped off and help you find a trustworthy mechanic who won't take advantage of you. Keep watching, because what I'm about to show you could save you thousands of dollars the next time your car needs service. Hey, if you like this kind of straight-to-the-point content with no BS, help me out here. Subscribe to the channel right now. It takes 2 seconds and guarantees you won't miss any tips that could save you some serious cash. The first major red flag that indicates a mechanic might be scamming you is refusing to show you the old parts they replaced. This is one of the oldest and most common scams in the automotive repair industry. Here's how it works. You bring your car in for a problem. Maybe your brakes are squeaking or your check engine light is on. The mechanic diagnoses the issue and tells you that you need new brake pads, rotors, and calipers. Or they say your catalytic converter is bad and needs replacement. They quote you $800 or $1,200 for the repair. You authorize the work because you trust them and you need your car. When you pick up your vehicle, you ask to see the old parts that were replaced. An honest mechanic will have no problem showing you the worn brake pads, damaged rotors, or failed catalytic converter. They'll point out exactly what was wrong and why replacement was necessary. But a dishonest mechanic will give you excuses. They'll say the parts were already disposed of, or they're required to send certain parts back to the manufacturer for core charges, or they claim it's shop policy not to show customers old parts for liability reasons. These are all red flags. The truth is that in many cases, dishonest mechanics never actually replaced anything. They charged you for parts and labor but didn't do the work. Or they replaced parts that weren't actually broken just to make money. By refusing to show you the old parts, they avoid getting caught in the scam. According to a 2019 investigation by the California Bureau of Automotive Repair, failure to provide replaced parts to customers upon request was involved in over 30% of confirmed fraud cases. Legitimate shops understand that showing customers their old parts builds trust and proves the work was necessary. Most honest mechanics will actually proactively show you the worn or damaged components and explain what failed. Some shops even take photos of the damaged parts before replacement as part of their standard process. If a mechanic refuses to show you old parts or gives vague excuses about why they can't, that's a major warning sign. What should you do? Before authorizing any repair, tell the mechanic that you want to see the old parts before you pay. Put this in writing on the repair authorization form. A legitimate shop will have no problem with this request. If they refuse or push back, take your car somewhere else, you can also request that the shop bag and label your old parts so you can take them with you. This is your legal right in most states. Any shop that won't accommodate this reasonable request is not a shop you want to do business with. The second major red flag is pressuring you to authorize additional repairs without proper diagnosis or explanation. This scam happens constantly at dishonest shops. You bring your car in for an oil change or basic maintenance. While your car is on the lift, the mechanic comes out and tells you that you have multiple urgent problems that need immediate attention. Your engine air filter is dirty and restricting airflow. Your cabin air filter is clogged and affecting your health. Your brake fluid is contaminated and needs to be flushed. Your transmission fluid is dark and needs to be changed. Your coolant is old and needs to be flushed. Your battery is weak and needs replacement. Your serpentine belt is cracked and could break any time. They present you with a list of recommendations totaling $600 to $1,500, and they pressure you to approve everything right now while your car is already there. They use scare tactics like telling you that your brakes could fail or your engine could overheat if you don't do these services immediately. Here's the problem. Many of these recommendations are either exaggerated, unnecessary, or completely fabricated. Yes, maintenance items do need to be serviced eventually, but honest mechanics follow manufacturer-recommended service intervals and only recommend work that's actually needed based on proper inspection. Dishonest mechanics use the upsell scam to maximize profit on every customer who walks through the door. They know most people don't know when these services are actually due, so they can recommend them prematurely and make easy money. A study by the OAA Automotive Engineering Department found that 42% of repair facilities recommended unnecessary services during undercover investigations. The most commonly oversold services were engine air filter replacement, cabin air filter replacement, coolant flush, transmission fluid service, and fuel system cleaning. How can you protect yourself? First, know your vehicle's maintenance schedule. Your owner's manual lists exactly when each service is due based on mileage and time. Before authorizing any work, check whether it's actually due according to the manufacturer. Second, don't let mechanics pressure you with scare tactics. If something is truly dangerous and urgent, they should be able to show you the problem and explain it clearly. Ask to see the dirty air filter, the contaminated fluid, or the cracked belt. An honest mechanic will show you. A dishonest one will just insist you trust them. Third, get a second opinion for expensive recommendations. If a shop tells you that you need $1,000 worth of services during a routine oil change, thank them and leave. Take your car to another shop for an independent inspection. You'll often find that the second shop says most of those services aren't needed yet. Fourth, be especially wary of chain quick lube places and tire shops. Not all are dishonest, but these types of businesses often have sales quotas and commission structures that incentivize mechanics to oversell services. Independent shops and dealerships tend to be more trustworthy for maintenance recommendations, though they're not immune to this practice either. The third major red flag is vague or inconsistent explanations of what's wrong with your car. Honest mechanics explain problems in clear terms that make sense even to non-experts. Dishonest mechanics use confusing jargon and vague descriptions to prevent questioning. For example, an honest mechanic diagnosing a check engine light will tell you specifically what code was retrieved, what component failed, and why it needs replacement. They might say, your oxygen sensor bank, 1 sensor 2, is reading out of range, causing poor fuel economy and will eventually damage your catalytic converter. The part costs $150 and labor is 1 hour at $120. Total is $270 plus tax. A dishonest mechanic will be vague. They'll say you have a sensor problem that's serious and needs fixing, and it's going to be about $600. When you ask for details, they use technical jargon or get defensive, saying you need to trust their expertise. They might change their explanation if you ask follow-up questions, indicating they're making it up. This vagueness prevents you from researching the problem or getting a second opinion because you lack specific information. It also allows them to inflate prices because you can't verify costs. According to consumer protection agencies, vague or inconsistent repair explanations are common in automotive fraud cases. The FTC warns consumers to be suspicious of mechanics who can't or won't explain repairs in understandable terms. What should you look for? A trustworthy mechanic provides written estimates listing specific parts by name and part number, specific labor operations, and itemized costs. They'll explain what failed, why it failed, what happens if you don't fix it, and what the repair involves. They answer questions patiently without getting defensive. Red flags include refusing written estimates, giving only verbal quotes, changing explanations when questioned, using excessive jargon, getting defensive when asked questions, or saying you just need to trust them. How to protect yourself? Always get written estimates before authorizing work. Ask mechanics to explain problems in simple terms. If they can't or won't, that's a warning sign. Research problems online. RepairPal and Your Mechanic provide average repair costs. If your quote is significantly higher, ask why. Get multiple quotes for expensive repairs. Call other shops, describe the problem, and ask what they would charge. Trust your instincts. If something feels off or you feel pressured, don't authorize work. Take your car elsewhere. Let me give you a real example combining all three red flags. A customer brought their car to a chain shop for an oil change. The shop said they found metal shavings in the oil, indicating severe engine damage and needed complete engine replacement costing $7,500. When asked to see the metal shavings, the shop said they already drained the oil and mixed it with waste oil so they couldn't show it. When asked for details about what was damaged, the shop gave vague answers about internal engine wear. The customer got a second opinion. The second shop found nothing wrong. The oil was clean with no metal contamination. The first shop was attempting a classic scam. All three red flags present: refusing to show evidence, pressuring for immediate expensive work, and vague explanations. Remember these three signs. If mechanic won't show you old parts, pressures you for unnecessary services, or gives vague, inconsistent explanations, walk away. Find a shop that operates with transparency, follows manufacturer guidelines, and treats you with respect. Good mechanics want educated customers who ask questions because they have nothing to hide.